Well, howdy there, pipe smokers, old pipe pals, old holy smoking pipe padre coming back at you. And I'm smoking this wonderful traveling old pipe pops pipe. And in it, I'm smoking some Orlick Dark Kentucky, I believe it is, that wonderful, fine human being, Mr. Joe Case, the one and only, sent to me. I really love this tobacco. I tell you what, there's kind of like love at first puff there, you know. I'm no Herminator made a little comment and goes, it's going to be interesting to get this pipe because of all the ghosting that might be acquainted with it. But, and again, I thought about smoking, you know, pirate cake in it. Or maybe something a little more aromatic, but I kind of thought, well, you know, that's going to, we'll put a ghost in it. Even a haunted bookshop, I even thought, oh, we'll talk about ghosts. And but I have to tell you that I think Virginia is kind of a neutral blend, and I don't think you can go wrong with a good Virginia, whether it's a Navy flake, a full Virginia flake, or this dark Kentucky. I think is wonderful too. But really a nice flavorful tobacco, and I don't think it's going to put a lot of scary, creepy ghosts in there. Well, gosh, I don't know what to say, folks. Today, you know, kind of wonder what old pipe pops would say after the news about what happened in Colorado last night. I can't believe it. I just, like you, I'm shocked. It doesn't make sense. Why would somebody do that? Why would somebody go into a theater and gun down innocent people? I get to a point where I don't know what to say anymore. Now I will say this, old Pipe Pops Jr., Mark there, he said something about a 71-year-old guy who some punks came into an internet cafe and started, you know, threatening him. And he talked about this video, and I went and found this video, and I couldn't believe it. This 71-year-old guy got out he had a legal permit, and he was able to ward off and fend off and shoot these guys. And, you know, I'm not advocating, you know, vigilantism. And I know that it's a very tender, you know, subject to talk about, you know, but the thing is that I mean, look, we've tried everything else, you know, and maybe if you had good armed citizens, people would think twice. If that guy knew that there could be possibly armed people in that theater that could shoot back at him, that might have given him a moment of pause. Now, I'm not saying it's a deterrent. I'm not saying it's going to, you know, make the world a safer place. But doggone it, you know, sometimes these bad guys, they're cowards. Anybody that's going to take a gun and shoot innocent, unarmed people is a coward. And I just think if we had people like that 71-year-old guy who could shoot back at you, they might give them a moment of pause. They might think, you know what, that ain't really a good idea because somebody might shoot me back. And I might die, body armor and all. And I'm just thinking, I don't know what else to do. You know, you got all the gun laws out there. Have they done anything to stop all this? No. You know, and again, I'm not trying to advocate, you know, for anything. I'm just saying I don't know what else to think, except that, you know, maybe if people weren't so helpless and just victims waiting to be victims, you know, and people kind of had a little more, you know, respect of their fellow man and woman, and realizing, you know what, I'm going to be civil to you because, you know, if I get out of line, you might be able to take me out. I don't know. I'm not saying we ought to go back to the old West days, you know, and strap on 6-shooters, but doggone it, if you have a better idea, other than just blowing up the planet all to hell and saying, well, we're all done now, Mayan calendar is over, and went, okay, but I tell you, it just, I just don't know. I mean, how a person, supposedly a thinking person, the guy was highly intelligent, neuroscience and all that. I just wonder what old pipe pops would say about that. Well, by the way, folks, I want to talk to you a couple things, and I'm going to get off here. Keep it kind of short today. One thing is, I got to tell you, I've got a couple of really nice gifts this last week. This pre-bill, Aaron pre-bill pipe. I just love this pipe. I've smoked it many, many times, and it's a good smoker. I mean, and I by the way, I smoked Haunted Bookshop in this. And I got the first decent smoke, I think, of Haunted Bookshop in this pipe here. This is a little awesome pipe, and I think it's great. Kind of looks like a little boomerang. It kind of looks like a little Aboriginal pipe or a Native American pipe. It's great, but this is a good little smoker. And Aaron, if you're watching, thank you so much. I'm going to be sending you something soon, but I can't thank you enough. What a great gift this is. Okay, now I want to talk to you. I've been kind of spending some time here with old Pipe Pop's pipe. And I have an announcement to make. And some of you tin horns out there ain't going to like this, but it's just too bad. I decided that I'm not sending this pipe on. I'm keeping it. Okay? Plain and simple. It's straight up truth, You guys want a Pipe Pop's pipe, you go talk to Mark and have him send out another one, because I'm keeping this one. Okay? Sorry, possession is 9/10 of the law. Sue me, okay? But I'm keeping this pipe. Well, at least for a few more days. Actually, I'm waiting for a log coming from Herminator. And I don't know, Herman. Send me a PM and let me know what address you sent it to, because if you send it to my other address, it may kind of slow down the process a little bit. I mean, I'll still get it, but it's just going to take a while for me to pick it up at my other address. But anyway, no, I've been sitting here with the old Pipe Pop's pipe and enjoying it. And I will, of course, send it on. Just kind of chapping your hide out there, Mark. But I guess what I want to say, and it kind of ties in with everything else maybe in some ways, but I think old Pipe Pop's was the kind of guy that, he'd done a lot of living and a lot of thinking over his life, and he kind of came to a lot of good, sound, solid conclusions about how the world works, and maybe more importantly, how we work, how we adapt to it. And one of the things that I have kind of, and I've known this for a long time, but I've just maybe now I'm going to start trying to really deal with it. You watch Jay's videos and he's going through struggles. And there's other people that go through struggles. And it all is a result of change. Change happens. We do not remain in a vacuum or a state of, there's just no, life keeps moving forward. You can't stop it, You can't pause it and say, okay, I want to just stay here for a while. Maybe you can go on vacation for a little bit. Maybe you can take a little bit of a break, but by golly, life is constantly changing. And the problem that I always experience, and I look back on this now, is that my problem has been either one, ability to recognize change when it's coming, or when it finally gets here, to adapt to it successfully. We like our comfort zones. I know I do. And sometimes, whether you want to say it's divine providence, it's God, it's fate, whatever, knocks you out of your comfort zones. And you gotta sometimes you have to relearn the software. Been watching a lot of videos on Final Cut Pro 10, and I'm gonna maybe try to put up a little. I don't want to turn this into a product review and tutorials, but a couple people said, can you show us how you actually pull a green screen using Final Cut Pro 10? and I will try to do that. It won't happen overnight because I'm busy on my other channel. Yeah, but there are different softwares. I just learned how to pull a key, a pretty decent one in After Effects, which is awesome. That's an awesome program. But one of the problems with Final Cut Pro 10, those of you who are interested, is last year, and it was the same thing with me, is that it, and a lot of people say it looks like iMovie. Actually, if you really want to know what I think what they're really borrowing from more than iMovie was Shake 4.1. Shake was the great big Apple compositor to kind of rival After Effects, or at least it was a great compositor. Don't get me wrong, but it was Apple's attempt to kind of maybe take on Adobe there. But anyway, but it's more. I think it has more to do with Shake than it has iMovie. Now, granted, it's not node-based compositing, but a lot of the interface looks a lot more like a Shake interface in many ways. That's just my opinion. But anyway, a lot of people got upset with Final Cut Pro 10 because they had to relearn the software. I think had they not radically changed it and they kept it to where you could interface with the old one and you didn't have to relearn the program, chances are it would have been a hugely successful one. Now, I've noticed that a lot of people now are saying really great things about Final Cut Pro 10, and I like it too, so it's good. But again, there's an example of change. People it completely took them off guard. You know, the professional editors who were kind of like, oh, this is how I make my living, and now I've got to relearn a whole new software package, and plus it seemed like it was limited. And to some people, it may still seem that way. But some of the reviews that I've been seeing are really positive, and people have had a year now to kind of get their feet wet and, realize that it is going to take them, months and maybe years to learn it all, like it did the first time or whatever. But it's a good package, and there are a lot of good things about Final Cut Pro 10, and I'm learning more and more every day. But also, again, I don't limit myself just to one program. I mean, there are lots of really great programs out there, and you take time to learn them, and then you've got more tools in your toolbox. Maybe that's how we deal with change. Having lots of tools, life skills to deal with those changes when they come. So I think that, maybe sitting here with old Pipe Pop's pipe, maybe I've kind of gotten a little bit of infused wisdom. Because most of the time when change comes, I just bristle against it. I dig my heels in and say, I ain't changing. And that can go for almost anything, whether it's relationships, it's your theology even. Living situations, you're getting older. You're getting older, sonny. You ever notice how old Mark looks now? My old Pipe Pops Jr., he's just going to have to call himself old Pipe Pops older. He's an old fart. And he's deranged, too. But I love you, Mark. You know that. But anyway, so dealing with change. Making change. Hey! We were wondering when I was going to bring that up, didn't you? Okay. And in some ways, it's interesting I say that because I remember when I was deployed in Bosnia. And we had a kind of an interesting guy as a chaplain. He was more like a used car salesman. Now, some of you people out there probably think most of us preacher types are used car salesmen and we're pretty plastic and all that. Man of the plastic. Okay. But I'll never forget, old Chaplain Goodwill said something I thought was pretty insightful. He said, do you want to drive or do you want to be driven? In other words, change is coming. But if you can kind of pre-adapt, kind of be smart about it, you can be part of the change instead of allowing just the change to happen to you. See what I'm saying? If you kind of know something's out there on the horizon, and if you're smart enough and you have a little bit of insight, you can kind of tweak that change. It's coming. You can't change it. You can't stop it, but you might be able to lessen its severity, or you might be able to kind of adjust it to where it's not going to be as overwhelming and as upsetting as it could be. So again, I think that comes with a little bit of wisdom. So sometimes when change comes, you can maybe be a part of, kind of dovetailing into that to where it's not as abrupt and harsh and problematic for you. So anyway, so that's me talking about change and making change and dealing with it the best you can. So again, I want to thank Mark for sending me this wonderful legacy pipe of such a great guy, good old John. I was watching some of his videos the other day, and I thought, gosh, it really was good having him and able to even interact with him as I did a couple of times. A couple of times he, in a very gentle way, kind of put me in my place, like don't take this stuff too seriously, And I thought, yeah, you're right. It's just a comment. It's just don't take it personally. But anyway, so with that, I wish you all a great weekend, and let's all try to be civil and safe out there, and please, folks, as Mark would say, Amber would say, use your turn signals, And to be honest with you, that's one of my big pet peeves, I have a real quick story about that one, and I promise I'll shut up. I was with a friend of mine, and we turn signal people are not alone out there. There's a lot of us out there. And one of my friends, he was driving by this guy that had a brand new, I guess it was a new Corvette. And the guy was weaving in and out of traffic, and, and he did, pulled in front of my friend, and didn't even use a turn signal or nothing, to let him know that he was going to make a lane change and all that. Well, finally, they get up to the stoplight, and my friend Mike's standing there in his truck, and he looks over at the Corvette, and I think he had the, window open, or maybe even the top down, I don't know. And he goes, "Hey, pretty nice car there." Guy goes, "Yeah, thanks." Vroom, vroom, vroom. And he goes, "What kind of an engine is it?" And he tells, "Oh, it's a big, that's great, yeah. Got the full package, I see." Yeah, I got the full package, yeah. "Come with any turn signals?" "Turn signals? Yeah, I got turn signals." "Why don't you use the damn things?" And then my friend drove off. I love it. So use your turn signals. And we'll see you soon.